Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Isabel and this is my library. In today's video, I bring you the ABCs of horror tag. I'd like to start by thanking Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems and Jan from Literary Love 123 for tagging me in this video. I'm so excited to bring you a horror book recommendation for each of the letters of the alphabet, minus two that I really struggled with. I've been working for a few days on preparing this video and I was trying to find truly horror book recommendations that would qualify for each of the letters of the alphabet. And that was incredibly difficult. I feel like a lot of the letters were not represented in my repertoire of horror books that I have read, but I did try my very best. I will quickly, to not make this video incredibly long, just tell you the letter of the alphabet. I will show you the book that I chose and maybe give you one or two keywords as far as what that book is all about. So starting with the letter A, I'm recommending to you A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. And basically this book is about a woman who loves food and the culinary arts and sex, and she has a very interesting palate and she enjoys eating um certain very interesting things. So that's A Certain Hunger. For B, I chose Blood on the Tracks, and this is a manga, and this is by Shuzo Oshimi. And this is volume 5, but I'm basically recommending the entire Blood on the Tracks series. It is a series that has currently finished, and I am completely caught up. I have read all 16 or 17 volumes of this, and basically this is a story of a mother who is very obsessed with her son and the impact that this obsession has on their lives. For C, I chose Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. And as many of you know, this is one of my favorite books of all time. And basically, Catherine House is about an elite school that provides opportunities for kids to achieve all of their dreams if they give in to the experience that is the school Catherine House. For D, I chose The Dangers of Smoking in Bed by Mariana Enriquez. And this is a collection of short stories. And all of the short stories have a certain element of horror to them or in them. A lot of them are viscerally scary. A lot of them are social commentary and very smart, kind of scary. And Mariana Enriquez has a very interesting writing voice. E is Evil Eye by Madhuri Shekhar. And this is actually an Audible original, so it's only available as an audiobook through Audible, but it is incredibly interesting. So we are basically following this mother and this daughter, and the mother is really obsessed with the daughter finding true love or finding a partner or uh, finding someone to be with. And she maybe does. Okay, and that's pretty much what this is all about. The audio experience is wonderful. A lot of it is phone calls, and so it's very well done. As soon as I finished reading this quite a few years back, I remember it was so good that I asked my husband, we have to listen to this on our next little like road trip. It's very short. And he enjoyed it too, and he actually like guessed the plot twist or whatnot, like, and he enjoyed it as well. So it's a very quick, cool audio experience. Um, and yeah, that's why I chose Evil Eye. Next we have F, and I chose Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainsford. And this is an incredibly beautiful book, very beautifully written, and we are basically following these characters that have the power to heal or cure various body parts of people if they submerge them or bury them in the ground. So, yeah, that's what this one is about. Follow Me to Ground. Next, for G, I chose The Girl in the Video by Michael David Wilson. And this is a story in which there is a teacher who receives a random video, and he proceeds to receive more and more of these random videos that make him feel very uncomfortable, and he starts to feel paranoid and obsessed, and he's not sure who is sending him these videos and why. And it's a very, very short horror novella. The Girl in the Video. H is A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And this is basically a possession story. And it does involve a reality TV show. And it's basically following a family who suspects that one of the daughters is possessed, and the story that follows. I went old school and I picked I Saw You That Night by R.L. Stine. And this has all the summer vibes. And basically, we are following a young protagonist, Rosie, who gets dared or has a bet to break into somebody's house, and then she sees something that she shouldn't have seen. And then, of course, the aftermath of that. Next, J, another R.L. Stine. This one is a graphic novel, and this is Just Beyond by R.L. Stine. And in this graphic novel, we are following a group of kids who move into a house that's being used as a movie set, basically. And they start to suspect that the movie set is haunted or has come to life. Next, for K, I chose another graphic novel, and this is Killing Stalking. And this recommendation does come with a bunch of warnings before you pick this up. Please make sure you check all of the warnings for this because it's very intense. I'm not caught up with the series. I've only read volume 1 and 2. I believe there's up to 5 or 6 volumes of this. I'll go ahead and just kind of show you a little bit of the inside. And so basically in this, we are following a young man who is obsessed with one of the more popular guys in his college. He's like obsessed and in love with him. And so one day he breaks into his house and he discovers a little bit of the dark story revolving this source of his obsession. And I won't say more, but that's Killing Stalking Volume 1. For L, I am choosing Listen to Your Sister by Nina Veal. So for those of you who watch my channel, I really did not love this one. I am recommending it because I think it is true a horror story, and I think there is an audience for this, and I do know that there are a lot of people who did enjoy this. Basically in this, we are following a sister who is in charge, or after her mother died, of her 2 siblings, and all of them have this ability where they have nightmares that kind of come true. And that's basically what this one is about. M is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. So I have talked about this book a lot in my channel, but I think it's the perfect example of a good horror book. In this, we are following 2 young friends, and one of them becomes possessed, and it's the story of their loving friendship and the extremes that one friend will go to save her possessed friend. For N, I am recommending Nana by Brandon Macy. And in this one, we are following a family, a woman, a young woman and her family. She was raised by her adoptive parents, and she's always wondered who her biological mother was. And in this book, at one moment, we have a woman who shows up and says that she's her biological mother and she becomes a part of the family. And then some very weird things start happening. This book has some very like gross kind of moments, some kind of body horror stuff, and it's a very interesting read. I'll leave it at that. Next is O, and I'm recommending Out There by Kate Folk. And Out There is a collection of short stories. A lot of them are speculative. True and true, though, they are horror. Some of these stories do involve a lot of technology and some sci-fi-ish kind of elements, but a lot of them are pretty horrific in their nature. But this again is one of my favorite books, and I really, really recommend the stories in here. Next, for the letter P, I am recommending Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach, and I have talked about this before in my channel. And Pen Pal is following the story of two young boys, they're friends, and from the moment that they are little, it recounts them in grade school and how one of their class projects is to release a balloon and find a pen pal who will write to them. And that kind of starts a very weird exchange between our young boy protagonist and another entity, if you will. And this book is so scary. I found this to be incredibly, incredibly creepy. Next, we come to Q, and unfortunately, I do not have a recommendation for the letter Q. I do know that there's probably some books out there, including the videos that I was tagged in that had some good Q books, but I only wanted to recommend to you things that I had read, and I have not read anything with the letter Q that I could say is a good horror representation. So please, if you have read a good horror book that starts with the letter Q, let me know and I'll pick it up in case I ever have to do something like this again, and I will have that letter represented. So skipping Q, we're moving on to R, and I will be recommending to you Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. And in Rest Stop, we are following a young man who is making a road trip, and he decides to stop at the rest stop for a little break, and he gets trapped inside the bathroom, and then all sorts of things start happening. Scary things, of course. So this one is pretty gross. It's pretty bloody. There's some insect stuff happening as well, or critter stuff, I should say. Yeah, and that's the rest stop. Then we have S. I'm recommending Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. And in this book, we are following a couple who decides to go on this little getaway to this cabin, and then at night they start experiencing some weird sounds, and some weird things are going on with the protagonist's wife, and things that she starts to see and hear and feel. And I enjoyed this. I was a little bit disappointed because it is a very hyped book. But I'll tell you, there were one or two scenes that still to this day I find incredibly scary and have kind of uh, they have a spot in my brain where they live, you know, so two very scary scenes. So I do recommend it just even for those two scenes. Then we have, for the letter T, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. And this book is pretty much following two women in the 90s who meet via a chat room of sorts, or a message board, if you will, and they develop a very toxic relationship with each other. That's all I'm going to say. This one's very gross. It has some unthinkable, unspeakable things that happen. So if you like that shocking kind of horror, and you can muster some of the very gross kind of things, I recommend this one to you. So next, for the letter U, I am recommending to you Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is a manga, and as you guys know, I love Junji Ito. And Uzumaki is not a short story collection, as a lot of his books are. This is actually one full story, and it's basically following a town where people are obsessed with this spiral, and they see it everywhere, and the spiral is everywhere, and they're like a cursed kind of town. And it's really, really good. Uzumaki. I'm due for a reread of this, I think. V is going to be a digital book that I read, and I was looking for this book everywhere and I couldn't find it. And I said, is it possible that I don't have this? And unfortunately, I don't have a physical copy of this. I did read this through Kindle Unlimited, which is where I consume, I think, a lot of my horror, believe it or not. So I immediately placed an order because I need to have this book physically. It's a book that I want to recommend to people. And I like having those physically, as you guys know. So I couldn't believe I didn't have this. But that book is The Venue, and this book was pretty much so much fun for me. I can talk a lot about this, so I'm just gonna pitch it to you in one or two words. But I might, when I get the physical copy, I might do like a little review on it because I love this book, and I read this a couple years back, so maybe I do a reread of it and then do a little video. But in The Venue, we are following a couple who is getting married, and they are planning to have or host their wedding at this particular venue. And all these people are receiving invitations, and they're kind of wondering, why did they invite me to this wedding? And everyone kind of has that same feeling. And then the wedding starts, and yeah, it's a wild ride. That's all I'm really gonna say. There's the feeling of a game. It's very fun, guys. If you like bloody, gory, messy kind of books, over the top, unhinged kind of books, The Venue then is for you. I highly recommend it. W, I'm recommending to you Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. And this is one of those beautifully written books. This reminds me a little bit of Follow Me to Ground. It has that kind of similar vibe, very farmy, connected to nature kind of horror. This is kind of like that. And in this, we are following a young woman who gets, she's out of the foster system and she becomes like a teacher, and she's hired at this place to kind of care for the kids or instruct the kids or that kind of a thing. There's a lot of magic and supernatural happenings and ghost hauntings in this book. This book is not so much plot driven. The beauty of this book is the language and the imagery. And a lot of times you're not sure really what is happening, but it is so, so beautiful. So this is that beautiful haunting kind of horror. And the writing is exceptional. That's Watch Over Me. So next we come to the second letter that I don't have anything for, and that is X. So I do not have an example of a book that starts with the letter X. That's a horror book that I have read and have enjoyed. So if there is a book out there that you know of, please let me know. I'll pick it up just because I'm a completionist, but I could not find anything. And I do know my friends who tagged me, they did come up with their own version of an X book. So check out their videos so that you can see what they did. I'm passing for now on X, but if you have a recommendation, let me know. So next we have Y, and I went a little old school for Y as well, and that is The Yearbook. And this one is a point horror book by Peter Larangis. And I find this one so interesting because I am a yearbook advisor. That's one of the roles that I play in my school. And in this, we are basically following a school in which some way or other, like they printed some very terrible things about certain seniors in the yearbook. And then little by little, those seniors start like dying or disappearing. And then it's like, okay, who's doing this and what is happening or whatnot. But it's a fun point horror book, and it's great. It's great in all the ways that point horror books used to be. And so that's my Y pick, The Yearbook. Okay, and my last one for Z is Zom 100 Volume 1. But obviously, I'm recommending the entire series. So Zom 100 is basically taking place during a zombie apocalypse. So there's a zombie apocalypse, and our protagonist is trying to survive. And so he comes up with a bucket list of 100 things that he wants to do before he gets eaten by the zombies. And that's basically what this one is about. And so we have lots of cool, horrific kind of uh, graphic images. We have elements of the things on the bucket list, and we are following him in his journey to get that done before the zombies get to him. So it's very, very fun manga that I recommend. And there you have it, guys. That is my list of the ABCs of horror book tag. So all of these are fun horror books that I have enjoyed and that I think you would enjoy. I would love to hear what some of your favorites are. If you've read any of these, if these are some of your favorites, if you have some that you would have picked if you were doing this tag, or that you want to recommend to me that are really, really good horror stories, I would love to hear from you as well. And yeah, it was so much fun doing this video. Thank you again, Cliff and Jen, for tagging me in this. I will go ahead and tag some of my friends on this. So if you're tagged, I'd love to hear from you. I'll try to just tag my friends that read horror, because I know not a lot of my bookish friends read horror, but I will go ahead and tag them. If you are watching this, even if I did not tag you because I don't really know your channel or I haven't seen your channel before, I'd love for you to do this tag as well. So consider yourself tagged. Please let me know, tag me in your video so I can go and watch it. I would love to see your video if you were inspired by this one to do your own version of it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I love having you here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.